Hello everyone, welcome back to the Pat Horror Podcast. Today's movie that I will be reviewing is called I Spit on Your Grave. What a very inviting title. Okay, so I've been given a list of questions to answer from watching this movie. Just a quick heads up, today's will be pretty graphic. This was a very disgusting movie, and we're reviewing the 2010 remake, not the 1978 film. Okay, so for first question, what were my expectations before watching this? Okay, my expectation was honestly this is going to be very, 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 very disturbing and gory. So, yeah, that's kind of what I thought. And next question is, did the movie live up to its reputation? I'd honestly say yeah. In terms of being gross and graphic, it definitely got to that. There were some scenes that it was pretty nasty. I think it could have gone without some of the scenes. And then next question, what were your immediate reaction when the credits rolled? My immediate reaction was turning off the TV because I was done watching that and going to play with my squishies. That was my immediate reaction. Honestly, yeah, I was just done listening and watching that disgusting thing. What did you think of Jennifer as the protagonist? Yeah, she was definitely a very, very smart person, I'd say. Well, actually, no, because she literally went to a cabin in the woods. She was pretty good at the revenge part. She was a good protagonist. She was a badass. Yeah. Did Jennifer's transformation feel believable? Honestly, no. Because just the way some of the stuff she did to the boys. Okay, well, in this movie, a bunch of boys rape her, and then she gets revenge in all the ways that the boys did to her. And then some of the stuff that she did to them, like lifting a 200-pound man onto a bathtub, I don't think that's possible. I don't think she'd be strong enough to do that. And just some of the other stuff she did, I don't know how she could plan that. It's just such little of time. Did any of the antagonists have depth, or were they simply just villains? No, they were just simply disgusting and horrible people. Honestly. Did the rural setting make the movie more unsettling? In a way, I guess. Because of, not lost in the woods, but, you're stranded in the woods, you're the only person there. It's, very cabin in the woods vibe, if you know what I mean. Did the yeah. How did the soundtrack and sound design affect the atmosphere? I don't really remember there was that much sound. I mean, I just watched the movie, and I don't really think there was that much sound. It was more just graphic. Yeah, like other films, it's called Obsession, definitely uses sound a lot, but I don't know. That film really didn't use that much sound to do it. Were there any scenes that stood out because of the directing or editing? I wouldn't say because of the directing or editing, no. Some scenes definitely stood out more than others, but not because of the directing or editing. Does the movie work better as a revenge thriller or a horror film? Okay, so it's definitely a revenge thriller. I don't know about horror. I'd probably, if I were to categorize it under horror, I'd call it a splatter movie. Splatter or slasher. Either one. Maybe not splatter because there wasn't too much blood, but when it was pretty gross. Were Jennifer's revenge methods creative or over the top? Absolutely over the top. Absolutely over the top. And creative too. Like in one of them, she put fish hooks through this guy's eyes and then gutted a fish and put the fish, guts on his face or, on his eyeballs. So the crows went and pecked his eyes out. I don't know about you, but that seems insanely over the top and creative at the same time. Like, that's just ridiculous. What revenge scene was the most memorable from a filmmaking perspective? Oh, God. I don't know if I can say this on YouTube, but I'll try to censor it as much as I can. Basically, she cut a guy's region off and then kind of, like, put it in his mouth. Did the ending feel satisfying? Absolutely, it felt satisfying. It definitely felt satisfying because she got revenge on every single one of the people that hurt her. So it definitely felt like, okay, she did a good job. Why do you think this remake is still so controversial? Well, it's definitely controversial because of how graphic and disgusting it is. Like the one scene I mentioned, disgusting. The rape parts, very, very graphic, very disturbing, very gross. Does this film have something meaningful to say, or is it primarily made to provoke? I don't really think it has, like, a moral to the story, other than don't go in a freaking cabin in the woods. Yeah, I think it's just meant to provoke people. Is there a difference between depicting violence and glorifying it? I'd say in this movie, no, but in real life, yes. Should movies like this have content warnings? Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't want, like, if I had a kid, I wouldn't want them going into this thinking it'd be like a comedy. And there should be warnings at the start of these movies that, like, not just, like, rated R. It should be, like, contains graphic scenes of torture, violence, nudity, blah, 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 stuff like that. How does it compare to other revenge films like Last House on the Left? I haven't seen Last House on the Left, but it was a pretty good revenge movie. Definitely over the top still, but it was okay for the movie it was. Do you think it influenced later horror movies? I don't think it influenced later horror movies, but there was a couple ones. There's, like, I Spit on Your Grave 2, and then there's Vengeance, and then there's Deja Vu, I'm pretty sure. Rate the acting 1 to 10. I don't think the acting was bad at all. 7, I guess? Rate the scares and tension 1 to 10. Scares, it didn't really scare me that much. It disturbed me. It made me feel grossed out. I'd say about 5, I guess. Rate the gore and effects 1 to 10. There wasn't that much gore, but the effects, it was kind of crazy. I'd give that a solid 8 out of 10. Rate the overall movie 1 to 10. It wasn't that great. It was kind of hard sitting through that. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Is I Spit on Your Grave misunderstood, or does it deserve its reputation? It deserves it, definitely. Is it an exploitation film, a revenge thriller, or both? I don't think it's an exploitation film. I feel like exploitation film, like the ground exploitation film, would be something like a Serbian film. The movie, a Serbian film, not any Serbian film. Or something like Cannibal Holocaust, Slaughtered Vomit Dolls, something like that. Is this a movie every horror fan should watch at least once? No, I don't really think so. It wasn't that good. Would you ever watch it again? I might watch the second and third one or fourth, but I don't think I'd watch that one again. It really wasn't too memorable for me. Was there a scene that hooked you into the movie? When she went in the cabin in the woods, honestly, because I was just like, oh, okay, great. She's dumb. Was there a point where you considered turning it off? No, not really. I don't really turn movies off that often. I did have to turn Faces of Death off because it was just gross. Did the movie rely on more suspense or shock? Probably shock. How did the pacing change between the first and second half? I guess the first half was kind of slow. Well, the first half they were kind of just like raping her and stuff like that. But in the second half, it got to where she was getting her revenge, which kind of felt nice. Did the revenge arc feel earned? This is the dumbest question ever. Absolutely, it felt earned. Is this survival horror? Honestly, I could say in a way it could be some type of survival horror, because she was, like, trying to escape them. Is it more disturbing than scary? Yes. What horror subgenre would you put it in? Splatter horror. Is this one of the hardest mainstream horror movies to watch? I didn't find it hard to watch. I guess the rape was a little bit triggering. Not, like, triggering, but it could be for some people. It was a little bit like, oh, okay. We're done. But they just kept going on and on and on. Yeah. I wouldn't say hardest mainstream. I think Evil Dead was pretty hard to watch, honestly, because it was gross. Last question. Where does it rank among the most controversial horror films? I'd put it in the middle of... I'd honestly put it in the middle of Evil Dead and... Actually, no. I'd put it one behind Evil Dead and a Serbian film. That's where I'd put my ranking, honestly. Like, honestly, that's where I would put it. Anyways, thanks for all the recent support. This has been the podcast. I already know what the next podcast is going to be, and that will be on Megan is Missing. I already watched it. It was disgusting. It was horrible, and I can't wait to do another podcast on it. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next podcast. Goodbye.